Hello everyone, I'm Calvin Castine and welcome to Business Beat. Today we're in beautiful downtown Rouses Point and we're just about as far downtown as we can get. And we're in what was formerly known as Jackie's Ceramic Shop in recent years, and we're talking to...
Carl DeLong.
And where are you from, Carl?
Well, I'm from Moores, but located in Rouses Point now. In the process of moving.
So you're leaving the suburbs of Rouses Point and moving here to the big city.
Yeah.
Okay, and you have a photography studio. It's called North Country Photography, according to what I'm reading backwards on your window. What can you tell us, and how long have you been here?
Been here about 3.5, 4 months now, and we do weddings, sports, anniversaries, portfolios, and product photography. And I find that we're getting into pet photography now too. There seems to be a market for that I didn't know of, and it's here, so we're doing it.
Okay, well, you mentioned the pet. Well, I know you've got a picture here. This is an example of... so you're talking a portrait of your favorite pet. That's what you're talking about, right?
Yeah. This is Kim and Glenn Gearson's dog. This was the first set that I had here. I didn't have any idea that it was going to be an animal, but it worked out very well because the dog was exceptionally well behaved, and the set went really good, and we got this out of it. So it worked out really well.
Okay, and while you're go ahead and put it down, I won't have you holding that all the time. You said product. What do you mean by that? You said you do product photography.
Product for producers around here, such as one we have down the road here, Adirondack Soap and Candle, the ones who manufacture products for resale. They put out flyers and magazines and whatnot, and I do that also. So.
Okay, so a place, I'm not going to volunteer them, but a place like if Delagar wanted to put something on a label, they could come down and see you for that, or any of the local manufacturers or business people.
Exactly.
So you'd also probably, brochures and all that type of stuff. Is what yeah. Okay, you've got sports in your window. What do you have in mind there when you're talking sports photography?
Basically, like Little League for the kids when they want like trading cards of themselves for themselves and for their teammates. They trade cards and they look just like the Topps or the Don Ross cards. Team portraits, individual portraits, and whatnot. Basically for the kids. It's not really geared for the adult leagues. It's mostly for Little League and T-ball and stuff like that.
Okay, and that's a year-round thing. There's always something in season when it comes to sports. Now you do weddings. Have you done many?
Quite a few. More weddings than anything else. Have a lot of fun doing weddings. I booked 2 weddings yesterday for next month. One's in Isle of Mont and the other one's in Moores. And been booking quite a few weddings, quite a few.
Okay, you look comfortable there, Carl. I'm going to ask you to come ahead just a bit because you're talking low. No, you can stay in there, but in that area, but I don't want it to be too far away from the microphone. Okay. I want people to hear you. That's why we're here. Okay, I don't know. Is Ralph Stone still in business? Is he still taking wedding pictures?
I don't know. From what I understand, and if I'm wrong, I hope you call me. He's semi-retired. He'll still do it on a part-time basis, I think. But as far as full-time, from what I understand, also his son, he's trying to get his son into it if he isn't already. But I'd like to contact Mr. Stone and talk to him about some things along that line, because from what I understand, every time I hear the word photography, somebody mentions it, they say Ralph Stone, and I think there's a lot that I could learn from him.
Well, I'm sure there's a lot that anybody who handles a camera, myself included, could learn from Ralph Stone. He was photography in our northern tier for a long time, and I think he is still dabbling in it, but not as. And again, if I'm wrong, call me Ralph or Fred or somebody. So probably you're the only full-time photographer up in this neck of the woods if Ralph is no longer doing it then, right?
That I know of. I've checked around, and the closest studio would be in Plattsburgh, and then there's some in Peru, but those are a little bit out of my market. I want to center on the Rouses Point, Moores, Champlain area, and a little bit into Canada and Vermont.
Now you'll do family portraits and all that type of stuff that you would expect from a studio. Why Rouses Point? What made you pick this particular location?
Well, a couple reasons. The rent isn't all that entirely high, and it came to a point where I was doing so much of it part-time that I wanted to make a decision one way or another, whether to break into it full-time or just keep up with it part-time. And it was basically just a whim. I was driving around Rouses Point one day, and I was looking at the buildings, and I was thinking of the Canadian traffic that runs through. And I saw this place and the place across the street, and made some calls. 2 days later, I had it. And moved in, did some remodeling in here, and been here. And I think it's a real good location too, really good. The only thing that I need to do other than my sign on the window is have a vertical sign, such as one across the street, and so I can capture more eyes of people driving by.
Yes, I knew you were on Lake Street, and I was driving down here today, and I honestly drove right by, and I was looking up by Chauvin's over in that area to see if where you were, and then I spotted you down here. So even though I knew you were here, I would have driven right by if I didn't know you were somewhere in the area. So a sign that sticks out and runs perpendicular to the road is probably your answer there to attract the drive-bys. Is this owned by Jackie Taylor? Who owns the building here?
From what I understand, Jackie, the lady who used to have the ceramic shop in here, sold the building a couple of years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, to a gentleman in the Air Force. His name is Jeff Twigg. Him and his father own CJ Enterprises, and they invest in income properties such as this. And he's had it for about 3 years.
Okay. Now, you've got an old camera. We're going to be going to one of your studios in a moment, but tell us about the old cameras, what the significance there is, please.
Well, I deal with old cameras. A lot of times people, the nostalgia behind them and just the fact that their parents or grandparents used to have them, they like to have them around. And all the old cameras that I deal with, they're all functioning and in working order. And I try not to take any in unless they are working. If they're not working, then I try to stay away from them because they're harder to deal with. Not that anybody would use it, they're just basically for looks. But if it has that much more appeal if they're working, if you can just sit there and hear it go off. But I buy, sell, and trade them, and I'm always in the market for them. So if anybody has them, I'm here.
What's your phone number?
My phone number, I've got 2 phone numbers. Local is 297-2445, and if you're out of the dialing area, I have an 800 number, is 800-721-2445.
Okay, so that'd be for the people in Chazy where it's going to cost them a dime to call you.
That's right.
Now, is this your only occupation? Do you have, this is it?
This is it. This is it. I decided I was working at a company down the road here, and that was when I made my decision to swing into this full-time. Like I said, I've been doing it part-time for about 10 years, and I liked it so much. I got to know a lot of people, do a lot of things, and I learned a lot, and finally I just decided to open full-time. And I looked at this place and decided that this had the best volume of traffic other than Champlain, but there was nothing on 87 that I could get, and decided to go for it.
Well, actually, when I was talking to the people at Steamy's, they said there is more cars that pass on Route 11 than there are on Route 87, which would surprise you until you start thinking about it, because you get the local traffic also on Route 11.
Mm-hmm.
And there's this phone. We're going to run into the studio right after he gets off the phone.
Hi.
I'll get a dark background if I can. I just want to check the...
You do edit these, right?
Well, these little parts here, yeah. Okay, we're now in the studio, and we're pretty good for business. You've had 2 calls since I've been here. I guess that happens. Sometimes I'm out shooting commercials. Instead of me being able to shoot commercials, it suddenly gets busy in there. So for some reason or other, I end up being good for business accidentally. So if a person wanted to have their family portrait taken or an individual portrait, this is where you'd bring them?
This is where we do it. I can do a number of things. We can custom make backgrounds or backdrops, such as this one. I had a lady come in with a Great Dane and a miniature Schnauzer, and the Great Dane was gray, and she wanted something with blue in it. and I didn't have anything with blue, so I had to make her something, and it wound up that the blue in the picture came out just right. So we can manipulate the backgrounds and the props. We can build just about anything that you'd want for a family portrait or an individual portrait. I'm in the process of building a daybed type set. It's going to have a window and a staircase on it for bridal portraits, and that should be done in about a week or so. And I've already got an appointment for that one, so I booked an appointment for that before I even built it or even started. And we have 10 or 15 different color backdrops that we can use, the graduated backdrops, or this big one that we can paint and change to any color scheme that somebody might want. And it works out really good. You know, whatever they want is what they're going to get. So.
Okay. Now you said you're from Moores. Are you a Northeastern Clinton graduate?
Yes, I am. Graduated in '83.
Okay, almost 10 years, huh?
Almost getting there.
What else do you think we should hear? I know we haven't mentioned your hours yet, I don't believe. What about when you're here and when you're not?
Hours are Monday through Saturday, 9 to 6, or by appointment after hours. Saturdays, it's usually a good idea to make an appointment for Saturdays, as that's when all the weddings are happening, and I have to leave. And I usually, when I'm not here on Saturdays, I hang a on-location sign on the door just to let people know that the business is still open, but I had to leave to do a location shoot, and that I will be back Monday. And so it works out pretty good. I like to gear the hours to where I'm open when they're done with work, and that way that gives them a little bit more flexibility to come and see me, so they don't have to leave work during lunch or before or after, and I'm here after they're done work, and it works out really good like that.
Yeah, so I was thinking if you're only open when people are working, and you're going to get the people who work nights or on vacation, and the rest of them won't get a chance to see you. But probably your best bet, if you want to contact you, would probably be to call, though, right?
Yeah. Yes. I do recommend calling. The only problem with, I'm the only one that works here at this time. A lot of times if somebody calls me up, I had to do a location shoot on Lake Champlain last week, and I had to leave at 12 o'clock, and I didn't get back here till like 5. And it's inconvenient for people because they come here and they expect the place to be open, and I have to go do a shoot. And sometimes it's hard for them. But if you call and let me know exactly when you're going to be here, I will be here for you.
So you have an answering machine, they'll take the message when people call and so on. Okay, and once again, the name of the company, or is it a company? What are we calling you here? Name of the business? Is North Country Photography.
Yeah.
And it's at 106 Lake Street in Rouses Point. And are you in that new great big thick phone book we got in the mail?
No, I missed the cutoff by 1 week. I tried to call the publisher of the phone book and get in there because I did want to put a nice big ad in there, and they said I missed the cutoff and that there was no exceptions. So I have to wait for the yellow pages till next year. The Champlain yellow pages, you will find a one-liner on the yellow pages, but no big ads. So.
Okay, I think from what I've been told, that great big thick phone book we've got will not replace our regular phone book. I think we'll still be getting a phone book, so you might be in the local phone book when it's issued. So, but in the meantime, if you do have need to call them, try to remember that name, because otherwise they're not going to find you. Is the phone also listed under your name though?
No, North Country Photography. You'll find it in the yellow pages under photography, North Country Photography, and it should have my name underneath that. As far as the white pages, I think it's just going to be listed under North Country Photography.
Do you have a phone listed in your name also?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Now that'll be soon be listed in Rouses Point.
Yeah.
Okay. And we're talking with Carl DeLong, and I'm about to close, but I just remembered that I only know one other DeLong. Are you related to Kurt at all?
That's my uncle. He's on vacation right now, probably sleeping. So.
One of those guys with the 10-week vacations in the summer, right?
That's right. He doesn't do too much.
During the summer.
Well, yeah, okay, during the summer too then.
Okay. Anything else, Carl?
No, just stop by. I'm here. I'm very flexible in dealing with people. basically whatever you want is exactly what you're going to get. If I do have guarantees that if you're not happy with the product, then we'll do it over at my expense. Basically, however long it takes to make you happy is what we're going to do to make you happy. And stop on by.
If you're not happy with your wedding pictures, your next wedding will be free.
Well, those are a one-time deal. We for the weddings, I take to the point of overkill on weddings. I take an enormous amount of shots for weddings, just to make sure that I get the right ones and that they're very happy with them. And that seems to work out really good because they like to have the selection that I give them for weddings. And they're usually amazed at how many pictures they actually do get, because I do have a set price list, but it's just a guideline for me. I normally go way above that as far as the amount of pictures that I take and what I include in the packages, because I want to make these guys happy and I want to make myself happy too, because I'm out to make a reputation for myself right now, and we're going to do what it takes.
So if you want to get him while he's still trying to make that good reputation, you better call you quick, right?
Well, that's not going to quit though. The reputation making is going to just go on and on and on and on. So it's you get a real good deal either way.
Okay, I don't do as many weddings as I used to with the video camera, but I enjoyed it, working with some real good photographers, John LaMarche and Dennis Hobart in particular, and of course Howard Jennings from Northern Adirondack School is a good friend. And I know the care and the effort that these people put in there, and it sounds like you're going to carry that on. And of course, North Country here, we've always, as you said earlier, Ralph Stone kind of stands out in everybody's mind when they think of having a picture taken. And the reason we're here talking with Carl DeLong today is because he gave us a call and said he had this new business, and sounds like your phone's ringing again. I'm going to wrap up here so you can go answer your phone. He wanted to have a chance here on Business Beat, and Business Beat is here for anybody who has a new business opening up or have a major change to your existing business. If you'd like to get on Business Beat, there's no charge for this. Just give us a call at 298-HOME. Thanks.